Okay. This afternoon, we're having a selection committee meeting. We have some students we need to discuss, and at this time, I'm going to pass you out the agenda. I have with me Tashawn Flakes, counselor, Brandon Brown, teacher for Kate, Michael Stanley, teacher for social studies. According to the agenda, we're going to start with the DISD's mission statement for GT. I pulled this information off of our website according to Advanced Academic Services Department. Here's our mission statement, and I'll discuss the mission statement with you. Supporting advanced learning for all students and meeting the unique needs of the gifted and talented learners. That's going to be the basis for all our meetings that we have. Even if we meet next year or the year, I'm going to stick with what DISD suggests be the mission statement. Then we look down and we look at our program goals. DISD has 2 program goals for the GT department, pre-AP department. According to section 2.1.3, which is part of our Texas Code, I took out the time and I printed 1 copy of the Texas Code. If you ever need the Texas Code, it'll be in here in a white binder to see if we're in compliance with the Texas Code. According to this, the Texas Code plan for the education of gifted and talented students form the basis of program accountability for state mandated services for gifted and talented students. The overall state goal for service is stated as follows. Students who participate in services designed for gifted students will demonstrate skills in self-directed learning, thinking, research, communication, as evidenced by the development of innovative products and performances that reflect individuality and creativity and are advanced in relation to students of similar age, experience, and environment. High school graduates who have participated in services for gifted students will have produced products and performances of professional quality as part of the program services. Now let's go over the district goals. The purpose of the gifted and talented is to implement, maintain, and support a variety of instructional strategies that address the 4 core academic areas: mathematics, language arts, reading, science, and social studies. In addition, the arts, leadership opportunities, and creative areas of giftedness are integrated within the academic programs, providing a part of the framework for moving toward the achievement of exemplary status under the Texas State Plan for Education and Gifted and Talented Students. Do y'all have any questions at this time?
Oh, we're just so excited.
Okay. Moving on. Now we need to figure out what our purpose is. Our purpose today is to make sure that we are servicing our students according to DISD and the state plan. We're going to look at 7 students that were nominated by one of our ELAR teachers for pre-AP next year. Okay? These 7 students, I had at least 2 or 3 of them in my GT program. So there's 7th graders who are going to move on to 8th grade. Okay? So when I pass this form around, okay, I'm going to pass it around. I'm going to get your suggestions, but you just write some comments by their name, and then me and Mrs. Flakes will get together to send out the appropriate information to the parent or call the parents up here to have another meeting. Our first meeting held didn't turn out so well. We don't know if it was appropriately propagandized through the phone system. So we did have a meeting, but we didn't have a good turnout. So we might have to invite some people out one-on-one.
The weather was bad.
The weather was bad, yeah, and we had a bad weather day on that day.
You mean the first parent meeting?
The first parent meeting. So we're supposed to have several parent meetings, but, you know, since we started so late, we only had one. I think only 4 parents showed up. So, with that said, I'm going to pass around the names. We only have 7. We can't consider them for GT because you have to be tested, and tested GT is only on elementary basis. But when some teacher come to either one of us, because we are the committee, we can put them in a pre-AP class if we see or know somebody that see the work as far as creativity, you know, look at the scores. That'll be up to us as a committee. So I'm going to pass these around so you can look at these. The name.
You want us to write it on there?
Yes, write it on there. Next on the agenda is the furlough. And let me explain to you what furlough is. We have some students on this campus who are not being serviced. Period. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Okay? We really don't have to worry about 8th grade other than myself going into the computer and saying furlough, and then they'll get that information and travel with them as they go into the high school setting. The kids that we need to worry about now are our 6th and 7th graders. We need to go ahead on and furlough them, even though if they don't come back, we need to have furlough by their name. So we will know that when they come back next year, we need to make sure that these students get services. Okay? So that will be something that we all agree, once I start saying the names, if you know any of the names, that we all agree that we furlough them, and I will do it documentary through the chancery system, and then I will pass that on, because it can't just be, I tried to send it downtown just like this, but they denied it. They said it's something that we have to go in and do in chancery, and I have the papers on how to do that. Okay, so I have to go in through chancery and set that up. So I'm going to pass these around, and if you agree that we furlough these students, then if you just put a check by their name, even if you know them or don't know them, so just put a check by their name. And I'm pretty sure, since none of us touched 6th grade, the only person that might know something about these 6th grade students would be the counselor, Mr. Sean Flakes Johnson.
6th graders in intervention.
Okay, so I'm going to pass this on and let her start with that. Okay, let's talk about candidates for the pre-AP courses. Okay.
Francisco, oh, wait.
Candidates.
Nakia Estes, no. No.
Okay, well, you're welcome to write what your comments on the back of the paper. That's the reason why I printed it out for you.
And let's be real clear about gifted and talented. Gifted and talented does not necessarily have to deal with behavior.
Exactly.
Okay, I just want everybody to understand the definition of gifted and talented, because a lot of times, if you're looking at a kid behind a behavior issue, it's a behavior issue because they're not being challenged. So when we're looking at these students, we really do, like Ms. Lee said, we need to look at samples of work.
So they're saying that I'm not challenging them?
No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, you just looked at a name and you was like, no, and I just want you to understand that the definition of gifted and talented does not always deal with behavior.
Exactly, but I don't think anybody needs that problem in their class.
Okay, so before we start, let's go over some of the qualifications for gifted and talented. Everybody here the reason we're on this committee is we have all been through the Region 10 selected classes. She's been to the counselor, and we three have been together through the teacher part. Okay, we need to bust some of the myths. Okay, there's a whole bunch of myths. Okay, we're going to look at work and testing, some of the testing situations. Remember, because everybody is not a good tester. So basically, we're trying to see if we can pull out what we can from the work and some of the projects that they might have. So that'll be my job to go around and ask some of the teachers what they have to, well, basically, Miss T is the one who said these students need to be in pre-AP. So she must have the work, okay? So I'm going to look at some of her work to see if they qualify. We all know that GT, we can't look at it from a perspective of them having a discipline problem, because as we learned in class, a lot of these kids might have discipline problems because they're not being challenged.
I think something else to consider is that not necessarily we're recommending them for every pre-AP course.
We're not.
Her specific recommendations for
ELAR.
For English, Language, Arts, and Reading.
Okay, just ELAR. That was her suggestion. Okay? Okay. So that would mean that we would have to sit down, and Ms. T would have to bring us some of their work, something that they've done to make her come up with the assumption that these kids need to be in the pre-AP classes. Do we all agree?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so we're looking at a certain criteria. That's our job. It says right here, for the selection community, why, and when somebody asks you why my child is not selected for GT. First of all, GT starts at elementary school when you take the test. So their selection committee at elementary school works off of the test scores and the work. Our job here, we can just schedule kids in and out of pre-AP classes. The GT kids are going to automatically come with their records already from elementary school. So all we just do is make sure that those are placed. So when we look at pre-AP, we're just looking at the work and the teachers who select them, okay? Not necessarily will we all agree when we see the work, but we just hear it. So it's 4 of us, so it'll have to be like a 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4 to select, okay? Now, one thing about it is we're going to have to pick up on our parent stuff. So we're going to have more parent involvement in the pre-AP GT so they can take advantages of these classes that we have here. So we're going to have more parent support, and we'll come up with ideas on doing that. I'm looking at, us meeting one more time before via email or something like that, 2015, 2016, if we all plan on coming back so we can get more parents involved and aware of the GTT and pre-AP process, okay? We decide on the criteria for the second opportunity of students. That's what we do. We notify the child, and the students are given a chance to turn in sample work, and the parents' role is what we're going to focus on. We're going to meet with them. We're going to ask them to volunteer. We're going to ask them for certain ways that we can communicate with them, okay? Because we want all our children to be, all the children's needs to be met, okay? So we're going to focus on the positive aspect of the child's accomplishment. We're going to encourage the children, and we're going to share the activities that the child do with the parents, okay? Now, our next thing we're going to talk about is goals for 2015 and 2016. Miss Flakes Johnson, we're going to have a big drive on May the 28th when she has her crossover. We're going to have a big drive for PTO. We thinking that PTA or are we going with PTO?
PTO.
So we're going with PTO. So we're going to have a big drive for PTO. And at that time, that's when we're going to have some information set out. And I want all of us to come together and make a nice letter that will support what we do, which is the pre-AP GT program that we can have sitting out so we can pass out to the parents. Now, we're not focusing on the 8th grade parents that's leaving. We're focusing on the 7th grade parents that's going to still be here. And we know that some of them are going to be in the same, 6th, 7th, and 8th, because I've been here. Some people have 6th graders here, 7th graders here. So we're going to focus on them in the letter. And also, we're going to probably have something like a drawing. We're probably going to have a drawing because I believe in, giving something back. So we're probably going to have a drawing that I will take care of. So when we have that parent meeting for the most class that bring back the PTO applications and PTO money, we'll probably have a little drawing for that class. Or she might have or we might have to do it as a party. But we need to be able to get out the platform of the pre-AP and GT information out correctly. Okay?
Okay.
So, with that said, this is the Chancery Advanced Services workbook that they gave me. And all I have to do is, after you agree, then I will go in there and I will furlough the students that you say need furloughed. If you agree that all these students need furloughed and they qualify for services. Now, some parents can come up here and say they don't want their kids in GT services. So we need to also consider that, or they don't want their kids to take pre-AP classes because they feel that that's too advanced.
Do you need to get that in writing?
So we have to get that in writing.
Okay.
Okay? We have to have that in writing from the parents. Because other than that, they'll be saying we're doing them a misjustice. Okay? There's also going to be this paper will be signed by Mr. Johnson and sent down today with our division on it and the pre-AP manager. I'm letting them know that we're having just a short meeting. Everything that we do has to be documented. So I'm letting them know that we had a campus meeting documentation, which is a short meeting, and we discussed our goals for 2015, 2016, which is to get more parents involved and make sure that all the kids that we're talking about today are serviced, along with the kids that are already being served. Okay, we also have a form for the selection committee where you're going to put your title and your position on there. And I'll go ahead on and sign it first and send it around. And now I want to ask for any suggestions or comments.
On the agenda, you have the PSAT summer prep session.
Sure, I'll get right to that.
Okay.
Now, the PSAT and summer prep sessions. They sent this out and they told me to get it out to the 8th graders. And I don't know if they mean the 8th graders that are going to be coming in, 8th graders, or the 8th graders that's going to be leaving out and going into 9th graders. That would be the question that I'm going to have to call Advanced Services and ask. But however,
I'm sure it's the incoming 8th graders.
okay, the incoming 8th graders. Okay. However, parent information meeting, this is for the kids that will have the opportunity to take advantage of the PSAT prep sessions. So it's going to be up to us as a committee to pass this out to selected 8th graders, you said coming in. So they are 7th graders now, which means that you might see them. And I might see them because I have 2 7th grade classes. It's a chance for them to take the PSAT. And it's prep sessions to get them started.
Cause that would be for next year. Cause I think that's ending. Like June the 13th is the last day for SAT testing. I'm not sure about PSAT. So I'm sure if SAT is ending, PSAT has ended as well. So they're probably talking about next year.
Okay. So it gives us 4 locations that the children can attend. Of course, the main thing about this, we have to try to get the information to the parents. So they all need to meet. They have a formal parent meeting at Bryan Adams High School. So you need to stress that to your students where Bryan Adams is. We need to let them know that this is a great advantage because this is free. This is free opportunity for them to get set up to take the PSAT. Okay, so I made this flyer. I made 1 flyer, and what I'm going to do tomorrow is put into how I don't know the enrollment for 7th grade, but I'm going to put in to maybe have about 70 to 80 copies made. Let's just be real. I'm just going to have about 70 to 80 copies because we already know what the situation is in this area. Okay? So this is a great opportunity, and I will need it for it even has a contact number on here for who they can contact. So let's plan on getting these out. Since the first parent meeting is Thursday, May 21st, that's this week. Let's plan on. I'm going to give y'all some of these in the morning. I'll put in to have them printed out, and I'll give you some of them probably before 9 o'clock. Okay. So in closing, we got our committee paper filled out, and I'll fax that in. Okay? We have our, are there any questions about anything we went over? Okay, we have everything set up, and are there any things that you think I should have added to the agenda that I didn't cover? That should have been on the agenda?
I think you did a wonderful job.
Thank you. Okay. So we did read our mission statement and our program goals. This is what's set in stone. Okay, let's put that to the side. Okay, I'm going to be looking for you to give me comments, anything that you find on these students, so I can go ahead on and get them furloughed, or I can go ahead on and get them set up with pre-APELAR. So we need to just look at some sample work or ask Miss T for some sample work, and we can't do that until next week.
But I think in her case, we do need to check with every one of her teachers. I think there need to be a consensus more than from just one person. Because, behavior may not be a criteria, but she is a problem. And if whoever's teaching her, if she decides that she don't want to do work because it's going to be more work, she's not gonna do it. And then she's gonna be in there for 8 months creating all kind of problems. So if all of the teachers, you know, she got 6 or 7 teachers, if everybody's got a consensus, no problem.
Okay.
But I don't think one person ought to put a problem like that on somebody.
Okay. So do y'all want me to create a form where we can have the kids' name on one side, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, like we do when we do sports? On that form, it says passing, failing, behavior problems, and you know we do y'all want me to do that from now on, and we could use that, we can make any forms we want to, and we could just use that from now on, and I could just make it out and send it around for each one of these students.
Yeah.
Okay, follow their schedule and send it around.
Teachers, you know, why they sign it, because it's serious. I like my AP class because the whole year I haven't had not one referral, not one, you know, anything you ask them to do, they do it without, and see, Miss Esther's not like that. See, she is gonna try to fit in with the crowd that's creating the most problems, and she's gonna carry them problems to every class she goes to.
Okay.
Look at her report card.
Okay. So do y'all agree that we just have the selection committee is now agreeing that we will have a form that will get the advice from every teacher, 1st through 7th period, to see if they nominate these children to go into the pre-AP classes. Okay. So we'll get a form, and then we'll come back together and we'll all look at that form, and then we'll get our comments. So I'll work on that form tomorrow. Basically, I'll just look at the form that you have. Don't you send out the checkout sheet? Who sent?
A behavior check sheet. Yeah.
I'll just look at a behavior check sheet and see how I can twerk it or tweak it to make it fit what we need to do.
Okay.
Okay? Now, one of the biggest problems that we have here at Comstock is getting out the materials to the students and getting everything we need to the parents. Do you have any other suggestions, different ways that we can do that?
One of the ways that you may want to do, since it's such a short list, maybe have a meeting with those students and getting a parent's email address.
Okay.
So you're sending something physical home as well, and then maybe we can email the parent, you know, do a group email, and then email it as well, since it's such a small group.
Okay.
So you could probably pull those kids during, you know, your off period or whatever, and we come down and we help you, and then just kind of tell them, because a lot of times kids don't take things home because they don't know what it is, or they don't understand the logistics behind it. But if you need me to come down and kind of tell them how being in a pre-AP class will be beneficial and how this is going to help them when they get to high school, I don't have a problem with doing that.
And that's what we need to do. We need to change the negativity that they have in their minds about, oh, it's going to be a whole bunch more work. Oh, I just don't want to do that. I mean, because I have pre-AP students who come in here all the time, and they just say, oh, it's just too much work. I didn't want to be in pre-AP anyway. I didn't want to be in GT anyway. And they just feel that it's just a big load. Or like I offer high school credit, and they say, well, why I had to get it now? I could just got that high school credit when I got to high school. I had time. So we need to change a lot of the negativity about the pre-AP and GT, and we need to make it see how all this stuff works in their favor. So if we want to put together like a little thing, you know, that we can introduction to pre-AP and GT, make sure that they can understand it, break it down to their level where they can understand it. I'll be happy to put a PowerPoint together and show it to them on that day.
Because when they get to college, this will help them get in the AP classes, right?
Well,
not
necessarily.
high school.
High school. It's when they get ready to go to high school, it's looked upon positive to see that they've taken pre-AP classes. Just like right now, Spruce is having next year is their first year of early college. So, and it wasn't based on a criteria. It was just if you wanted to go, you applied, you did an interview, and you were accepted. They didn't look at grades and all that, but this is the first year. So who's to say that next year they won't start looking at grades? It just depends on, you know, how successful the program is going to be. So students need to understand that that is good when you're in pre-AP classes. When you get in high school and you take pre-AP classes and you take the AP course, that you test out of some courses that you would have to take when you go to college. You don't have to take the remedial math and all that because it's a standard set in AP, and colleges are able to guide their curriculum or see if you received the information that you needed in order to be prepared for your first year of college. So a lot of kids don't know that because really, honestly, in middle school, you're not thinking that far. And like Ms. Lee said, we need to start changing the mind frame of our students and have them start thinking long term, because now with HB 5, you have to start thinking about college. You have to put the end in mind when you making your path in middle school and high school now.
Excellent.
So when we go back to students like you pointed out, and we all meet with them, that might be the student that we take aside and call a parent and have a parent conference with the selection committee to try to change the mindset of the parent. First, we got to see what the mindset of the parent is. We can work the mindset of the parent, get them to be a stakeholder in this, then it'll work out. Because I've never heard of this child's name before. So we'll see what type of child that is. Okay? Then the next thing I want to let y'all know is that what I'm going to send down is like the campus meeting documentation. As far as the 2015-2016 school year go, and I hope that we all assemble again next year, we should have one faculty meeting, one GT Pre-AP parents meeting, one general parent meeting, and so I'm thinking about when we do this will also count as the Pre-AP GT meeting. This one right here. So we didn't get in the 3 meetings, but if we can get in the 1 meeting, then we can send this documentation. Because we had the general parent meeting, and at that parent meeting, I just found the roster. We didn't have before, and that was due to weather. So we'll have just a GT Pre-AP meeting, and we'll just focus on these students. And that's when we need to try to get this done before the school year ends, so she can make sure that they are serviced. And remember, we're only looking at 7 students, just 7 students, okay? And I can do the letter in English. I do know how to translate a little bit because I'm better at reading, but I'll have somebody formally look at what I set out before I send anything out. Okay? In Spanish, okay?
All right.
And before we close, always remember that the state policy is here.
Yes, ma'am.
Right here, if you ever need to come see the state policy, I have it sitting on my desk in a
Manila folder. Are there any questions, any other concerns before we close?
No.
Okay, thank you for your attendance this afternoon and our first GT Pre-AP Selection Committee meeting. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why you're here today is because I'm the Pre-AP GT manager. You're not in trouble. There is something very special about each and every last one of you. You have been selected as a candidate to take a Pre-AP GT class for next year. How many people know what a Pre-AP class is? If you do, raise your hand. What is it in your opinion? Advanced placement. Now, how does it work towards you going towards high school? If you know how it works towards you going towards high school, raise your hand. Okay? You're not? Okay. You'll be okay in just a minute. Okay? So, therefore, what I'm about to do is I'm about to give you the parent letter. The parent letter and the student letter tells you how it works to help you towards high school. Okay, and we all want to get advanced placement so we can test out of some of the boring classes and move over to something a little more exciting. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you what I just gave you. Advanced placement classes provide students with rigor and depth of instruction coming to the college level classroom. So how many of y'all have sat in the classroom where you've been bored to death? Tell the truth. Raise your hand. Okay. So once we put you in a Pre-AP classroom, we're trying to put you in a classroom where you won't be so bored, or you'll have extra projects or extra activities. You better not have been bored in here, because you've always got something going on in here. Okay? Colleges and universities may award course credit to students earning acceptable scores on AP exams that are administered each May. The benefits of enrollment or AP classes are many, including the development of strong study skills, an understanding of the college regime, and the potential of earning college credits while in high school. For parents, success in the AP exam may translate into added savings on college tuition. So we're preparing you for your AP classes you'll have here on this campus. It's going to target you and prepare you for those skills that you're going to need to take your AP classes in high school. So you can run through high school and get that college credit and be ready for college. How many people got their mind on going on college? That's your goal, is to go. Okay, I'm not asking you what your major is. I'm just saying you got the mindset to go. Okay? Success in pre-AP and AP classes require commitment and a good faith effort on the part of the student. Because AP courses are typically a student's first exposure to the regime of a college course. It is important that students recognize that pre-AP and AP classes require active participation in class. Note-taking, involvement in class discussions, a willingness to ask questions, having supplies and textbooks in class, prompt attention to make up work or test corrections, a completion of all assignments are critical to a student's success, maintaining good attendance, prioritizing homework and study time, and a willingness to attend tutorials of respective pre-AP and AP students. Students often cite the added grade points awarded to the pre-AP and AP classes as an incentive for participation in advanced placement courses. Parental support and encouragement provide the student with the foundation necessary to succeed in the pre-AP AP classes. Students will find that pre-AP and AP coursework typically requires more reading and homework, and preparation for AP exams requires effective time management and study skills. Are there any questions so far? Okay? Because I'm expecting for you to go home and sit down with your parents tonight and go over this with your parents. This is a plus. This is in your favor. As students navigate their pre-AP and AP courses, it is often a parent support that motivates the student. Occasionally, a student, parent, or teacher realizes the enrollment in a pre-AP or AP class is not in the student's best interest. In such cases, with parent permission, students may withdraw. So you don't have to stay. You can get in. If you don't want it, you think it's too much work, I would love it if I was you. Then your parent can sign the paper and you can get out of it at any time. We put you into a regular class for next year. But you have been slated for us to put you in pre-AP for next year. Okay? It's not concrete in stone. We just need for your parents to go, for you to go over to the parents and for your parents to sign it. Students are expected to remain in the pre-AP and AP classes for at least 6 weeks though. The deadline for withdrawal from pre-AP and AP classes is the last day of the 12th week of the semester. That will be the first semester before we leave for Christmas. A withdrawal form including student, parent, and teacher's signature is required. This letter must go home to your parents. Okay? Do you understand that? If you understand that, give me a thumbs up, please. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay. Now, I'm not going to tell you which teacher chose you, but all your teachers have to give a comment, because it's not slated in stone that you're going to be put in here. We need for all your teachers to give a comment. One teacher chose you, but all your teachers need to give us a comment. That's how we do it now at Ely Comstock, okay? So you need to bring this back to me as soon as possible after you have your teachers. Like I will start today with 5th, 6th, and 7th. I will start today and let them read this. And I'm going to send out an email and let them know what they're supposed to do on it, okay? Do you have any questions for me? Any questions? Any questions? What I did was I set aside time to show you just a little short video so you will say, oh, Ms. Lee said I'm going to get your student. What does that mean? Okay? Get your student means you are special. You're always going to be special, but it just means that you're special in the kind of way. Some of us don't want to be special, but you're special. Nothing to be ashamed of when you're special. kids. You have your critical thinkers, your problem solvers. You often feel isolated from your peers because you already know the work. This time I'm going to turn it over to our counselor who will be working with us on this endeavor, Ms. Flakes Johnson. And if you have any questions for her, she will answer them for you.
Okay.
Just for you to do is to try to get this filled out starting today. You go to 5th, 6th, 7th period, have those teachers fill out their part, tell them how important it is. Then in the morning, fill out the first part of it, okay? And then I want you to have your parents sign that letter. If you can give that back to me by Friday, I'll make sure that Ms. Flakes Johnson gets that on Monday morning so we can start working on that, okay? And if you have any questions, always my door is open to you. Some of you already have me as a teacher, okay? It's nothing to be scared about. We're just setting you up for success, and we're just getting you ready for your high school experience. At this time, I'm going to excuse you, gather all of your paperwork, take it with you. If you have any questions, come back by during the day, and let's start getting that filled out. What the paper that we sent for you with will also serve as your pass back to class. And y'all have a good day and a bright weekend if I don't talk to y'all anymore. And I want to thank you for coming. Thank you.